Hey everybody, I just got through with my meetup and it didn't exactly go as planned, but it was good. But it made me realize there's some real needs out there that are a lot more immediate, and they need to be handled in a way that's a little bit more than just focusing on financial independence. Although the tools that I shared for financial independence are very helpful for anyone on the journey, there were some real needs out there. And I wanted to share something that I used to do when I was a teacher, and I have my background in solution-focused coaching, and that is to create a thought bubble. So make a little circle, and whatever your problem is, so for instance, let's say you're house poor, you have more house than you can afford, draw a little line out to the side of all the things that you could do to solve that problem. So it might be get a well-paying job. I need to make this much a month to afford this house, which is usually 4 times what you make. So if it's $100, if your house is $1,000 a month payment, you're going to need to make $4,000. And I have a little different idea about that. Some people say 3 times, but really to afford it needs to be 4 times. I could sell the house and move to a smaller house. I could sell the house and rent and pay off debt, whatever. All the things, from the most crazy ideas to the most practical. What this does is this helps you get your emotion out of it and get more logical. You'll see things and you'll be like, there's no way I could do that. But this one maybe. Our mind is a terrible place to manage our thoughts. We get very overwhelmed. We can't see the forest for the trees when we're in our head. But when we write things down on paper, they make more sense to us. And so that is one thing to start. And then we want to pick one thing to do. So I was talking to someone else, and I've been talking to a lot of people lately about their finances, and there's a lot of really big needs out there. So we want to focus on what we can control. All right, we may not be able to sell our house today, but maybe we can go find a job, or maybe we can reduce our grocery budget, or maybe we can sell some stuff. If we're trying to look at where we need to be in 10 years, that can be really overwhelming because there's so many things to do. It's great to focus on, I want to be financially independent in 10 years, but we need to be like, what can I do today? So that's probably making a phone call, making a list and checking it off. So success breeds success. So when I went through solution-focused coaching, what we were taught was that people get overwhelmed very quickly and it gets them stifled. And so what you have to do is you have to think about what's one little thing. So let's say you want to start walking and you've never walked it other than just for necessity. So you're going to go walk maybe one, to the mailbox or around the block, something really easy. You're not going to start walking 5 miles. Let's say that you need to, I don't know what it is. You want to make a cake and you've never made a cake. So what's the first step? The first step is not to start just making a cake. You got to find a recipe. You got to get the ingredients. And so you have to break things down into manageable pieces. And if you're going to go like today, I'm going to find a recipe, go to the grocery store and make the cake. That might be a lot. And especially when you throw in things like people have life, like work, they might have illness, they might have children. So when we put a lot on ourselves, we tend to get overwhelmed. So we need to make the list of all the steps to do the thing. And then like yesterday, I had a list of all these things I needed to do, and they all required something of follow-up. I had to fill out all this paperwork for my son who's autistic. And when I got through that paperwork, I realized I had to take it to the doctor to get him to sign off on it. So I couldn't get all of it done there. I had on my list finish paperwork for my son and go turn it into the company I have to turn it into. But there's actually like 3 or 4 steps that have to happen to get that complete. So what I'm saying is focus on the one thing that you can do now that's easy, and have a list of all the things that have to happen, and try to think through that list of all of the steps, because sometimes we'll be like, buy a new car. Well, what has to happen to buy a new car? You need to figure out, can you pay cash for a car? Research the car. Are you going to finance the car? All the things. And so to be successful, we need to create small, tiny little steps that get us to success. I cannot tell you how many times I talk to people who are completely stifled and they're so in their problem, they want to talk about their problem, but they don't even know where to start. And a lot of times the help I give is like, okay, this week I want you to make this phone call. Okay, I end up giving them homework. And as a solution focused coach, it's like, well, what is your goal? We have to come up with, what is my goal? And what's one thing I can do right now? And so I love that saying. I say it all the time on this channel. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 years. That 10 years is coming whether we like it or not. If we're lucky, we're going to be here 10 years from now. What we do today is going to impact that where we are. But if we think in a year from now I'm going to be a millionaire and a negative net worth, probably not. But in 10 years from now, it's very possible. It might require you going back to school. It might require you starting a business. But you got to start somewhere, and you need it to be something that you can help, that's easy to do right now. So make that phone call, or just today, make that list. Do that thought bubble. What's my problem? What are the solutions? And then tomorrow, maybe you start to explore the solutions. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.